It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brain Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege of interviewing the coach at Haverford, head women's soccer coach, Coach Jamie Schneck. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you.
Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get started in coaching in college women's soccer?
Yeah, I played soccer all through my college experience, and when I was done, I wasn't ready to be done. I loved the experience and I loved the camaraderie, I loved the competition, and honestly, I just loved everything about team sports. And I think that's kind of what was really intriguing about the concept of college coaching and coaching is that you could potentially make a career out of it. And so I think my experience being a college athlete really inspired me to want to hopefully help create a good experience for others.
What was that experience like getting involved in going into college and playing college soccer for Manberg's College?
Muhlenberg College. Yeah, it was my experience was probably different than a lot of others. I was a walk-on, I didn't play club soccer growing up. I really didn't know if I, if I was good enough, and kind of showed up and said, "Hey, I'd really like to try out." And it worked out amazing for me. I mean, I loved my experience. I loved our team. Everything about it really. And I was really appreciative of the opportunity and for the coach to kind of take a chance on me. But yeah, I just really adored the experience.
For you as a player, what was that experience like getting to walk on to Muhlenberg College?
Exciting, scary, all the above, right? I mean, I think whenever our first year walks on campus, they really don't know what to expect. How do you, balance being a student athlete? What does it look like? And I think but it's also exciting too, like it's a new experience. And I think I had all the feels, all the emotions, but ultimately it all worked out.
What was that feeling like getting to put on that soccer jersey and representing Muhlenberg College?
Absolute best. I mean, to this day, and we do it at Haverford now, but holding hands during the national anthem, it is the best. Holding hands with your teammates and just like representing your school. There's nothing like it.
While a college soccer player, what were some of your biggest accomplishments on the soccer field?
I mean, I think some of our biggest accomplishments were winning two Centennial Conference championships and an ECAC championship. I mean, I think those were all really exciting and awesome memories.
What was that transition like for you going from being a soccer player to becoming a grad assistant at East Stroudsburg?
Um, it was definitely a transition because I'll be honest, there were some players when I was at East Stroudsburg that were older than me. So really, putting kind of a coaching hat on while also recognizing that I'm still really young and just trying to be a sponge and learn. It also like was kind of a trial, right? Meaning it was my first experience post college, really helping out with coaching, and so it kind of helped me determine whether or not this was something I really did want to pursue. And ultimately I did. I enjoyed the experience.
What were some of the things that you learned to then help you to become an assistant coach for the first time?
Some of the things I learned, I think the number one thing is I said it before, is be a sponge, like watch, learn, listen. You watch, see the things you like, you see the things you maybe would do differently, and I think you add it to your repertoire, right, to help form ultimately the coach that you want to be. But I think the other thing I saw was all the different things that were involved in coaching, the meetings, the recruiting, the administrative work. So it kind of gave me more of a full picture of what it is like to be a college coach.
Going to Washington College, what was that experience like being the assistant coach there?
Oh, I loved that experience. I loved the school. I loved our coach I worked under. It was awesome. Like I felt like I had a lot of responsibility and freedom, and I think it really helped develop my personality as a coach. And like I said, we had a terrific group. And I also used that time to get involved in club soccer as well. So it allowed me to try new drills, and it was just I think that was a really important time.
How was that experience like for you going to Washington and Lee and getting to be their assistant coach?
I mean, that experience was pretty unreal because the program was in such a great spot and they were super competitive. And I was working under a coach who was really established, and just to learn from Coach Cunningham was incredible because he knows the game so well. He is a great recruiter, and again, that the success he had, and then it had the season I was there was just pretty incredible to watch and see, and I enjoyed it a lot.
Being a part of Coach Cunningham's coaching staff, what was that experience like going to that Elite Eight and getting to have that experience as a coach?
Um, it was amazing. I mean, I think back to that team and I think of how good they were, and just how unified and hardworking. And I mean, it was fun. And I don't think it's looking back, I was like, wow, everything went really smooth that season. But every game was a battle. It didn't feel like, it was still really nerve-wracking, but that team was great. I mean, I think about like what it takes to be a successful team and program, and I think one of the biggest things is like consistency. And I think that I look at that team and that they were just so consistent. They were consistent in their training efforts, in games, and it was a really that team was pretty special.
What was that transition like for you from leaving Washington Lee and coming over to Haverford and becoming their head coach?
Exciting and scary. I mean, I think whenever you become a first time head coach, you're super excited for the opportunity to have your own program, but also it's daunting, right? Because now you're not under somebody who can kind of show you the ropes. You're the one who's making the decisions. And I think all those um thought bubbles were going through my head. But I was grateful for the opportunity, and it certainly was a transition, but one that I was excited and felt I hopefully I was ready for it. If I wasn't, I was gonna grow into it.
What was that feeling like the first time you got to step onto that soccer field as the head coach at Half4?
Scary as well. Scary, exciting, um, emotional, all of the above. I think it was just really cool to have something that in my mind I had worked really hard for to get to, be a head coach, and hear the lineups coming out, and it was just a really cool experience. And I was also really lucky because our athletic director, there's actually a picture of myself and our athletic director, who was the previous women's soccer coach, of us together. We're wearing like the same outfit, and I remember her on that day as well, and she was so supportive, and I was so grateful for that.
What was that feeling like the first time you got that win as a head coach?
Excitement, relief, um, and wanting more.
How did it feel when you got to step onto that soccer field for the first time in your home soccer field?
Oh, you mean our home turf, or can you
Your home
elaborate?
turf.
Great. I mean, there's something great about playing on your home field and the school pride and the camaraderie, and it's a good feeling waking up on soccer Saturday.
What does a typical soccer game day look like for you as a head coach versus for your players?
Um, for me, I mean, I think I have a lot of superstitions, or I don't know if they're superstitions, but things that I like to do. I wake up early on a soccer Saturday. I usually don't sleep that well the night before because I'm too excited. I always send the team a game day email with a video. When it's a home Saturday game, we always do a jog stretch with our team. And they go over individual goals and team goals for the game. Then usually go to my office and just you know, kind of bop around until it's game time, figure out what I want to say in the locker room, and then we'll go into the locker room, talk to the team, and then make my way out to the field. And I think with our team, they have a lot of game day traditions as well. You know, they do every game, they have a different player on the team speak to the team, a speech. They have secret psychers. So I'm sure it looks a little bit differently from coach to player, but we all have our special things that we do to get us excited, motivated, focused, and locked in for game day.
Can you talk about, of course, the culture that you've started to build for Haverford?
Yeah, I mean, culture, I could talk about this for days, but I think culture and camaraderie is ever changing because every year you have a different team, right? You graduate seniors and you year, so it's nothing that you can get complacent with. We have used our 5 core values to really maintain and always look to evolve our team culture. Our values are respect, pride, shared leadership, open communication, and hard work with purpose. And we do a lot of tangible things to exemplify those core values. And while the values stay the same year to year, what they look like vary based off of, year to year based off of the personality of our team. And that's something that we really talk about a lot during, especially during our preseason, what we want them to look like. And we always really, again, try to do a lot of tangible things to exemplify those core values so that they're not fluff and that people, respect and see the values, almost, like a living and breathing, right? And then the overarching mantra of our program is our family versus their team. And that's something that's really important to me. I think connection piece and the relationship piece, and so much of, I believe playing a three sport is the intrinsic motivation, right? It's like wanting to put the time and effort into your development because you want to do it. But I also believe that yes, you can have that intrinsic motivation, but it also really helps when you're around a group of people where they are inspiring you to put that time, work, and passion and effort in. You want to be around people that you enjoy working hard for and playing with. And I think that's where the relationships and the connections really come into play as far as the team environment. If you're gonna, it isn't always glamorous, whether it's waking up early, putting extra time in with reps, doing all the behind things. It's certainly a commitment, but when you're doing it with people that you really adore, it makes it a lot more fun.
Who are some of the teams in your conference that you compete against each week?
I mean, we play in the Centennial Conference, so it's, in my biased opinion, it's one of the most competitive conferences in the country. I mean, just the top of off the top of my head, we play Hopkins, McDaniel, Swarthmore, Bryn Mawr, Dickinson, Muhlenberg, F&M, Ursinus, Washington College. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anyone off the top of my head. If I haven't mentioned Gettysburg. So some of those are the schools that we play with in our conference.
What is that home game atmosphere like when teams like Hopkins come to home versus going away to Hopkins?
I mean, I think both are really fun. A home game versus Hopkins. I mean, usually Hopkins is always at the top of our conference. They're an incredible program. So whenever you are playing, a team that consistently is at the top, you bring your best, right? And so obviously we love playing them at home. In our environment, it's usually on a Saturday, and soccer Saturdays are something our team is always really excited about. But I also think we love going there, right? They have a nice turf, a jumbotron. It's just a cool environment.
Of course, what is that like getting a coach as a soccer coach on turf field versus regular grass field?
I'm sorry, you just cut out. Can you say that again?
Mhm. As a head soccer coach, what is that like getting a coach on turf field versus regular soccer field?
Yeah, I mean, I like grass fields if they are nice and taken care of. I also think turf is fine as well. I think it's just about making sure you're prepared for either surface, right? So, if we play on grass at home, so we train on grass before our home competitions. If we're playing an opponent that plays on turf, we'll train on our turf field to get ourselves ready. But I think the ball moves a little bit quicker on turf, so we have to get prepared for that. But again, I always like playing on quality grass, so that's something that we feel fortunate to have a nice grass field here.
What does that home game atmosphere like when teams come to your home facility?
Well, I hope they feel like it's a good environment for them to come into, that they're welcomed. I think that we have a good venue and good game management, and yeah, I hope it's a good experience for opposing teams.
So far as a head coach, what have been some of your biggest accomplishments?
I mean, I think just the relationship with some of our alums and the mentorship, that in itself has been just something I really I smile just thinking about some of our alums and connecting with them and seeing what they're doing now. Obviously, winning a Centennial Conference championship in 2012 was something I'll never forget, and I don't think that team will ever forget when we've received at-large bids to go to the NCAA tournament. Those are obviously incredible seasons and moments and all that, but even teams that maybe haven't had that success at the national level. I mean, there's always been moments or adversity or sorry, my lights always go off when I'm not moving, that I'm really proud of as well.
What was that experience like getting that at-large bid and going into the NCAA tournament?
I mean, I think whenever you go to the NCAA tournament, it's just like it's awesome to hear your name announced at the broadcast. And I mean, I also know that you never take it for granted, right? It doesn't necessarily happen every year. And you just want to, I think it's really easy, especially as a coach, to be so focused and go, oh my gosh, we got to get going. We now know who we're playing. Let's get the scouting report. But I think it's also really important to stop and smell the roses and enjoy it and let your players enjoy it, because it's something they'll remember forever.
What does that recruitment process look like for those prospective student athletes?
So for the recruiting process for us, I mean, I think a lot of it right now is, we watch prospective student athletes play and showcases, camps and clinics. It's communication through correspondence, through email, through Zoom. And it's ultimately for us, it's about finding prospective student athletes who can help impact our program in a positive way, our campus community. And obviously the academic piece is really important. Haverford is a competitive school academically. And so, we want to find prospective student athletes who really take their academics seriously and are looking to be pushed both in the classroom and on the field.
As a head coach, what is it like when you see those prospective student athletes fall in love with the campus and the soccer field?
I mean, I think it's whenever someone enjoys and wants to be here, that's a good feeling, because this is I love Haverford. I've been here for 17 years, and you want other people to love it as much as you. So in general, I mean, it's a great feeling. And I think part of my role as a coach and as a recruiter is to really make sure that I do my due diligence and showcasing what Haverford and our soccer program have to offer. And so if someone recognizes that and sees that, that's a good feeling.
As a head coach, what is it like seeing those freshmen put on that burgundy Haggard jersey for the first time?
I mean, it's exciting, right? It's their first time putting on their uniform and representing the school. I'm excited for them, and I also know they're probably pretty nervous. So trying to get them to shake off the nerves and know that they deserve to be here.
What is it like getting to see your seniors putting on that jersey for the last time?
Sad. I think whenever you're graduating a senior class, it's really bittersweet. You're excited for them, but you're also sad because you don't want them to leave. So, but I think that's kind of the whole process, right? Is go through 4 years, hopefully have a great experience, and continue on and move into that alumni role, right? But it's certainly bittersweet.
As a coach, what is it like seeing those players go from being college soccer players to then getting into professional soccer or even coaching and playing in the NWSL?
Yeah, so at our level, I mean, to be honest, most of our players do not go on to play at the professional level. I think we've only had one player who, at least in my time, who's gone on and played a year of professional soccer in Spain. But we have had quite a few players who have gone on to coach, whether it be at the college level, high school, or club. And that has always been really fun to see.
What are some of your future plans for Haggerty soccer program moving forward?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
What are some of your future plans for the soccer program moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think some of those are to continue and really try to become more competitive. Keep up with our recruiting. We're graduating a big class, and make sure that we're bringing in players that can really impact our program. Continue to involve our core values, and keep up with all the things that are necessary to keep a program going, thriving, and ultimately with the overarching goal, one, to compete to win, and two, to provide a great experience for our players.
What advice would you give those incoming freshmen entering their first year of college soccer?
Um, a few things. I guess number one, knowing that it's not going to be easy, right? And I think things when you come in as a first year, you have to earn your playing time, know that things don't always go exactly according to plan, and that's okay. It's the part of the experiences. You're gonna have highs and you're gonna have lows, and that's absolutely normal, and that's okay. But um work hard on those relationships, because those are going to be the people, your teammates, that are going to help you get through those lows, and they're going to be cheering you on when you're experiencing your highs. I think other advice I have is making sure that you're doing this because you want to do it and not because someone else wants to do it. I think, again, so much of, at least at the D3 soccer level, is that intrinsic motivation, that wanting to develop, and soccer is a really fun game. Don't lose the fun and joy, keep playing, and you know always have that growth mindset. I think that is really important. There's always room to grow, there's always room to improve, and your starting point is never your end point.
What advice would you give those seniors out there that are looking to play professional soccer or even get into college coaching?
For the college coaching piece, I mean, my advice is put the time in as far as learning the game, and, watch a lot of soccer, look for assistant coaching positions, shadow coaches. So I, even now, I'll go to different practices of local school, universities or schools in the area, and watch, just to get different ideas, see how different things are done. Professional development is a really big piece of this profession, I believe, and you're always learning from others, and you never want to get stale. As far as advice for players that want to play at the professional level, attack it, go for it. If you think, if you want to continue your career, find a way to make that happen for yourself.
What advice would you give those assistant coaches out there that are looking to move from being assistant coaches to head coaches one day?
Yeah, I think my advice would is be persistent. The hard thing about being a head college coach is that there's only, X amount of positions out there, right? Because there's only so many colleges and universities there. And but I will say, if a position opens, even if you don't have everything that is listed on the criteria, apply and go for it. And you know, uh, do as much as you can in the interim to help prepare yourself. So when that moment does come and you become a head coach, you feel prepared, organized, and you have a plan of attack. But I think anything that you can do to put yourself in a good spot, make connections, network, you never know how that network will help you in the future.
What advice would you give those future head coaches out there that are looking to build their own program and build their own legacy?
I mean, I think the biggest thing is be yourself. I think it's, when I was first hired, and I always joke about this, when I was first hired at Haverford, I was 25 years old. And, I just wanted to be like the previous head coach I had worked for, and I wasn't him. He was, we were different people. And as much as I wanted to be exactly like him, I also, had to recognize like I need to be myself. And I think, that's okay, right? Don't doubt, I think everyone, well, I won't say that everyone, but I do think there's sometimes this feeling of imposter syndrome. And I think it's really important to recognize, like, sure, there will be certain things you might not be sure about, but, fake it until you become it. And again, I think stay true to yourself, stay true to your morals and your values and your character, and hopefully things will fall into place.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media along with the Haverford women's soccer program at?
You can follow our program, on Instagram, Haverford Women's Soccer, and we have it on Instagram, and we have Twitter. And you can also log on to our Haverford Athletics website just to see what the ongoings with our team.
Thank you again, Coach Jamie Schneck, for your interview, and best of luck in your future as the Haverford head women's soccer coach.
Thank you very much.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.